Shall we discuss pensions? It's a subject which may seem a little dry, but has in fact led to riots, strikes and even a pair of no-confidence votes in France this week. President Macron's administration has survived the rebellion, and it seems the French pension age is set to rise to 64, to the fury of the citizens who cherish the right to down tools at the age of 62. Do we retire too early in the UK? Au contraire. To the surprise of no one, hard-working Britons already work far longer than our friends across the Channel. Our retirement age is 66, and there are plans to increase it to 68. Well, Vox Populi Vox Dei. We asked you, the British people, how would you feel about retiring at 68? And here's what you had to say.
No, probably not. 65 is fine. Brilliant. You want some time to enjoy your retirement, don't you?
I don't think go for 68. I think skip is 65 to 66, but not 68.
Probably don't think it should. I'm 56. You can ask me again in 10 years' time. But my feeling on it is really, it depends what you do to earn a living. If you've got a very hard labouring job or you're outside all day, I think by the time you're in your early 60s, you've probably had enough and fairly due retirement.
Well, let's get the verdict of my panel. Former editor of The Sun, Kelvin Mackenzie, and former Labour parliamentary candidate and councillor, Kevin Craig. Kevin, I think the retirement age in the UK needs to go up to 70. That 68 is still too young. People are living so much longer than they used to.
They are, and Macron's getting in trouble for trying to adjust and bring France into the modern age, and people don't like change. And like that gentleman said there, if you've got a tough manual job, which, to be respectful to all of us, none of the three of us here have, it's not like being on your knees and plastering or a security guard, as my lovely father was. So it's different for people, and be careful if you retire too young, retire, expire. But your colleagues in government, Jacob, you seem to be having a bit of trouble now about what you're going to do. And I don't know if you're a bit worried that you've brought in this £1 billion sort of pension giveaway for the top 1%. Again, probably all three of us here in that. And then you're probably a bit worried, I'm hearing that some Conservative Party colleagues are worried that if we've done that at the top and then we're making everyone else work longer, there's going to be a result and we'll be more unpopular.
Kelvin, your brilliant political correspondent, Trevor Kavanagh, is still going strong at 80 and writes brilliantly for The Sun day in, day out, particularly on Mondays.
And he'll carry on. He'll carry on forever. The black cab driver the other week told me, I said, when are you going to call it a day? And he said, I'm never going to call it a day. So it must be a lucrative game, by the way. What they should try and do is try and understand that you need never retire. The idea of retiring, I've hired some people for my new venture. Two of them are in their 70s. OK, and honestly, their output is unbelievably fantastic. And not if their output good, they want to do it. Right? They enjoy the fact this is not a full-time thing for them, but it does bring in some money. But it also, I think, work actually establishes something about, makes you more interesting. Somebody said to me once, you retire and every day's a Sunday. Why is Sunday enjoyable? You're getting up a bit later, you're reading the paper. What happens if that's every day? And what have you got to say to anybody? So if you go to, I don't know, a do or something, and they start talking about something, do you really know enough to keep embroiled in the conversation?
You tell them what you heard on GBNews the night before. That provides your conversation. So that's what I think that problem we can solve for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Kevin, the reaction of the French, it's so different from ours. Do you have any insight? Why do they riot, cause such trouble, whereas we just accept what Parliament passes?
Well, it's historical, cultural. I've enjoyed your use of French language tonight, Jacob, as a student. I lived it over there for a couple of years. But the tradition is different, and of course it's come quite recently. Macron, fought a very open, embracing election campaign, and he's won, and suddenly he's doing all these unpopular reforms. But they, the French attitude towards work has been less Anglo-Saxon. Okay, they for many years think that we work too hard in this country. When I was over there, I was struck by the wine at lunchtime and a very different approach to work-life balance. So all of that feeds in. But he does say, which I think is fair, that modern first world states have to adjust how much pensions cost. Countries can't afford them in the same way.
Yeah.
But are the three of us just very lucky that we have jobs that we really enjoy, and therefore the idea of retirement is not particularly exciting. But if you're doing a job that you don't enjoy, then retirement becomes really important. You want to get out of it and follow your hobbies.
Okay, well, uniquely right now, the power is not with the boss, the power is with the worker. And there are loads of jobs. You go to any supermarket, you go to almost any shop window, there's help wanted, right? So you are in a very good shape to cut a deal. I will only work 3 days a week, I'll only work 2, I'll only work 6 till 10. By the way, the bosses are all saying yes. The boss has to sell their company and themselves to the employee. This is completely the opposite way around. There has never been a better time to be thinking about moving your job, and that is going to be true whether you're in your 70s or in your 60s or your 50s. The day of the old person being dumped in the corner there and say, oh, Tom over there and all that, that's all gone.
Just one thing, and I agree actually with Kelvin on that as a businessman, but all those public sector jobs, you know, very physically demanding, the mental demands of, you know, some of the professions. We heard tonight about police officers, police, teachers, nurses. Not all of those professions, folks, can't go on in the same way to 70. So it is different, I think.
Okay, but I know, right, 2 consultants, right, bright as you like, fit as butcher's dogs, boom, calling it a day at 60, right? Completely wrong in my view. They have very good minds, and it's not their physicality which is going to... We need those consultants. We should be incentivising people, saying, when you reach 60, we're going to give you a £15,000 pay rise, so you carry on until you're 70, or a 3-day week or something.
But Kevin, are you intimating that people should have slightly portfolio careers, so that if you've worked really hard and you're a teacher and you get to 62, you might want to spend 10 years working part-time or doing something, taking one of the jobs Kelvin says you can easily find at the moment?
Well, again, there'll be so many people listening and watching tonight who live in a different universe to the one that we're referring to. And I think a lot of people, they want certainty on the retirement age so they can make plans. That's the big thing. And people have different level of choices according to their careers, manual labour. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the other thing is that with some of the teachers, they seem to have retired while they're working anyway.
That's a different subject. We'll get back to that on another occasion.